Let's make some noise. Come on.
All right. Thank you, Nick Foles, Super Bowl MVP. Let's make some noise indeed. Welcome back, everybody, to the final word. It's your boy, MattyB, here on the It's Rap Sports Network for our Tuesday night edition. Great to see you again. Great to be back in front of you. We have a lot to get to tonight. I guess the Eagles found their scapegoat. I hope it's not the only one. Kevin Patullo, as expected today, well, not as expected today, but as expected, today, was fired by the Eagles, effectively opening up the offensive coordinator position for the umpteenth time over the last 6 years or 5 years. We have ourselves an incoming new offensive coordinator in 2026. We're obviously going to unpack what this means. It's not too hard to read between the raindrops here. It's not too hard to find out who they're pinning the blame on for the struggles of the Eagle offense in 2025. Unfortunately, I don't think it goes that shallow. I think it goes deeper than that. And we'll talk about the implications or ramifications. And Nick Sirianni's part in all this, man. Talk about like a slug here. Nick Sirianni, who I'm not a Sirianni guy, never has been, never will be, threw his friend right out the door. At least Doug Peterson had the balls to say, you know what? You want to fire him? You got to fire me. That's a man. That's loyalty. And Nick Sirianni showed absolutely none of that today. Unfortunately for us, did not show that loyalty or those balls as expected. Nick Sirianni is a coward. Nick Sirianni is a worm. So he threw his friend underneath the bus, ushered him out the door, so he may remain, at least for today, the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles. So Kevin Patullo will be the big story. Where do we go from now? Where do we go from here? Who replaces him? All that stuff. Also tonight in the news, no Bo Bichette news. No, none of that. As we get closer and closer to spring training, or at least when pitchers and catchers report, still don't have a starting catcher. And our team is still very much the same as it was, minus the starting catcher. It's actually worse than it was at the end of last season at this particular moment in time in mid-January. Don't know what the friggin' plan is. Don't know when we're going to start hearing some news, but it's getting kind of old. And yes, it's shaping up to be one of the epically worst off seasons in Philly's history as we get closer and closer to the start of spring training. And we are essentially looking at the same team, worse than the same team that stepped off the field in Los Angeles back in October. We're going to go into some hot stove. I know I've sort of ignored the hot stove over the past few weeks with all the football stuff. So we're going to try to transition a little bit back into our normal routine here on the show. We're 2 days from the firing of, or not the firing. We're 2 days from the end of the Eagles season. So we're going to try to get this show back on the rails. Back on how it usually is every night. So we're going to try. But if the conversation deviates us elsewhere, we're going to go with it. But we'll get into some hot stove. We will get into the card of the night. Tired of staring at the same card for the last 5 nights. So we're going to get into that tonight. We're also going to talk about our of the night segment because, again, there's other things happening in this town other than the Eagles, and I want to get back to talking about that. But obviously the top story here, Kevin Patullo out. Get out. No soup for you. 1 year into his tenure as the Eagles offensive coordinator. And as I ponder that, as I sit back and I think about this, and obviously the last 24 hours or so, it's been a mix of get rid of Nick Sirianni, get rid of Jalen Hurts, I haven't heard anybody say get rid of Howie Roseman yet. What the hell's going on there? But it's been a mix of get rid of Sirianni, get rid of Hurts, and obviously the majority saying get rid of Kevin Patullo. But we have real short memories in this town. What is this offensive coordinator change going to really do for the Philadelphia Eagles? I have heard this morning, today, later this afternoon, a myriad of sports talk shows talking about essentially putting the entire blame of this season on the feet of Kevin Patullo. Are you mad? Are you insane? Listen, he's got something to do with it. He's got a lot to do with it, but he's not the reason that the season collapsed. Because, yes, we had another collapse this year. There's no other way to say it. You start the season 4-0, You finish the season 7-6 with a first-round playoff exit. That's a collapse when you're the defending Super Bowl champions. That wasn't Kevin Padula's sole doing. There's more involved. And it starts at the head of the snake, Nick Sirianni. You know, was it Ben Johnson a few years ago? Or Brian Johnson? Well, Ben Johnson's the Bears guy, but Brian Johnson, internal hire. We kind of gave that a pass. Like, okay, let's see how that works. It didn't work. And then what makes this really laughable is when we did it again. I remember when they hired him. I went off the deep end. I'm like, what are we doing here? Are the Eagles really smelling themselves this much right now that they're going to go back and pretty much try to do something that they messed up really bad with just 2 years ago by hiring an internal Nick Sirianni guy as your offensive coordinator? Are they smelling themselves this much after one Super Bowl championship or two, I guess, or one under Sirianni? Is this what we are? We have the opportunity right now in front of us to capture a dynasty. And we're saying we're better than you. We're going to hire from within because it worked out really well the last time we did it. And of course, it was a disaster. And a lot of the so-called experts, I heard some of these homers and some of these just terrible people out there saying, you know what, this could be a good move for the Eagles to hire Kevin Patullo. He could bring a fresh perspective to things. This was back when they first hired him. Now, of course, those people are singing another tune today saying, no, I never supported the hire. It's a bunch of crap. But you fire Kevin Patullo, but Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni remain. So what is it that's going to change about this team next year? Is the offensive coordinator a magician? Merlin, if you will? He's going to come in here and sprinkle fairy dust on the offense, and all of a sudden Jalen Hurts is going to be able to throw the ball consistently over the middle. Jalen Hurts is also going to understand how to read defenses. Jalen Hurts is going to understand how to run an exotic, multiple layered offense. All of a sudden, just by bing, is that how that works? Because if it's that easy, then we're really behind the power curve. But what is that going to change about this football team heading into 2026? We're going to put all this pressure once again on another new offensive coordinator. How many offensive coordinators have we got to go through before we realize maybe it's not them? Maybe it's other aspects of this team. Maybe it's the management of this team. Maybe it's the quarterback of this team. Maybe it's the wide receivers, the offensive line, the running back. Maybe it's something else other than the offensive coordinator. I'm not sitting here telling you Kevin Patullo deserves a second chance. He did not. But if you're going to clean house, and obviously you're cleaning it right now, why stop with him? Why not make a move and get rid of the head coach? I mean, the guy showed his backbone today, or lack thereof a backbone, by saying, you know what, Kevin, I love you, brother. We've been together since San Diego. But guess what, man? You got to go, because I'm not leaving the gravy train, right? I love being a lapdog. I love being, a distraction on the sidelines. I love having to have a personal security guard watch me as I cheerlead every Sunday here in this town. I love bamboozling these people into thinking I'm a good head coach. He threw his best friend under the bus. Get the hell out. I'm continuing on. He had a chance to save himself with me today. He had a chance. I'm not firing you. You're my buddy. I brought you here for better or for worse. I'm going to give you more than 1 year to fix it. I'm not saying it's the right decision, but I'm not firing you. And if they want to fire me for it, the hell with them. He showed his true colors today. Oh, yes, he did. Nick Sirianni showed his boy the door. So, goodbye, Kevin Patullo. We barely knew you. Good luck, and all that. But just amazing turn of events here today on the program. Let's get into some of this. Oh no, where you been, Barbara? How are you tonight? I hope you do make it. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. I hope you had a great holiday, Christmas, New Year. I hope you had all that. Star Wars says now Hurts needs to go. Yeah. Is this the only move, though, Star Wars? Is this all we're going to get? Was Kevin Patullo, like I put up on social media last week, the sacrifice to the church of Jalen Hurts? Was this the fan offering to the almighty Jalen Hurts? Please forgive us, oh overlord. We beseech you. Here you go, your pound of flesh, the offensive coordinator. Deliver us from thy sins. And goddamn complete a pass across the middle. But is this it? Is this it? Because I don't think it's enough. Do you want the Eagles to bring in for their new offensive coordinator? And we'll get into that. There's a couple. Obviously, the Brian Daboll's, the what's that guy from the Ravens? You know what I'm talking about. McDaniel, Stefanski. I put up a thing today because I was thinking about this. It's up on our social media. A dark horse candidate to be the new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. Get a load of this. Phillip Rivers. That's right. Phillip friggin' Rivers. Old man Rivers. And I have a reason. I have multiple reasons for that. And I'll get into those here in a minute. Ricky Deal says, fire the Eagles coach. man, if Ricky is going down the MattyB road, we're really in a bad way, man. And by the way, Ricky, you're first when the phone lines open tonight. I have not forgotten that. This Eagles team was Super Bowl or bust, and they are a bust team this season. But Michael Kaepernick, a bust team, yes, 100%. And I know you're not in any way connected to the affirmation of Nick Sirianni being here as the head coach, but it's more than a bust. Why am I the only one who sees this? You had the opportunity of a lifetime to deliver to the fan base a dynasty, right? You had it there. I mean, there'll be no questioning whether or not the Eagles were a dynasty team if they won the Super Bowl this year. No question. Poor off-season decisions on the defense, which they overcame. Not addressing the obvious offensive problems with this football team, being the quarterback, relying on hopefully Saquon Barkley having the same exact season or a close there replication of his 2024 season. Was the game plan offensively for this football team in 2025. It was doomed from the beginning, and your boy MattyB called it. I called it way back when. If Saquon, I'll run the tape, clip it out, put it up on the old Google machine if you want. If Saquon Barkley does not replicate 2024, and I mean everything that went with Saquon, the offensive line and Saquon, if that could not be replicated, not duplicated, but replicated, and they had to rely on Jalen Hurts to be the elite quarterback that everyone claims he is and lead this team into the Super Bowl championship, it wasn't going to work because it has never worked. It has never, ever worked. They failed to address that. They're smelling themselves, thinking that they could run it back with Saquon. It didn't work. You scapegoat Kevin Patullo because of the inadequacies and limitations of your quarterback and your buffoon head coach. This is not enough, man. This is a sacrifice. That's all this is. This is a pound of flesh to the certain side of the Eagle fan base that doesn't understand what's going on here. You know, the Jalenites, the Hurts huggers, that this is for them. For the rest of us, this is nothing. This is a cover up your own tracks, move on, nothing to see here type of move. And it's not enough. It's not enough. Nick, Howie, Hurts, and the whole offense needs to go. Star Wars wants to start over with Vic Fangio in the defense, folks. We need a new GM. Preach to the choir here. Don't worry. Howie's going to get his turn here coming up later on, maybe next week. Howie's not he's not off the hook yet. We need a new owner. I kind of agree with you there. Jeffrey is not a good owner. Well, he's the gold standard. So when Padula was hired, A.J. Brown spoke highly about him, but I never heard Jalen say anything about Padula being hired in a positive way or negative way. I don't take too much stock into that, and there might be something there. He also didn't endorse him the other day or yesterday when asked if he would like to have him come back. I get you. I know Jalen. Everyone wants to. I so don't want to talk about Jalen Hurts tonight, but But is it Kevin Padula or is it Jalen Hurts? Right? And I know what the homers are thinking. I can already feel that beep, 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 beep. They're communicating back and forth with each other, right? And I can see their thoughts. Well, he won a Super Bowl. He's a Super Bowl MVP. He's a winner. He's got the it factor. No, but he's a passenger on the bus. That's all he is. It's always been. All right. In the one season that he had the opportunity to be that guy, to be that winner, to be that it guy was in 22. When he failed against Pat Mahomes in the Super Bowl. And I'm going to put that on him. Last year's Super Bowl had nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. And this it nonsense, this Homer Jalen Hurts credo, he's got the it factor. I don't know what that is. What is that? Because we needed that it factor on Sunday afternoon. Where the hell was it? You know where it was, Michael Kaepernick? You know where it was, everybody else out there? You know where it was, Homer Nation? I'm going to tell you where the it factor was on Sunday. It was with the offensive coordinator, because that's who you're blaming. That's who you're putting up that's who you're bringing up to the gallows. That's who you're setting on fire, and that's who you're sacrificing to the church of Jalen Hurts. You're sacrificing the offensive coordinator for your quarterback and your head coach's limitations, and it's wrong. This city needs to wake the hell up. It's time to clean house. Can't do it feasibly, but you could fire the head coach. Bring in another head coach. Maybe he can salvage Jalen. I don't think Jalen Hurts is as a adorable guy as everybody thinks he is. He seems a little bit like a diva himself, with the reports of I won't run, with the reports of coming out of that I'm going to run the offense my way. I don't care if we practice it a million times. Come game day, I'm running it my way. He sounds like a diva himself. A.J. Brown gets all the visceral venom because he goes out and actually acts like a diva. But behind closed doors, what do we really know about Jalen Hurts? What do we really know about him? And that's a question. If anybody's got some insight, I'd like to hear. What's up, Dave? How are you tonight? I'm doing good. All right, let's break free from this for a second and let's do our day in Philadelphia sports history, because I want to get back on track with this show. So on this day back in 2007, with Donovan McNabb out for the season with that ACL problem, backup quarterback Jeff Garcia started the final 6 games for the Eagles, a stretch in which the team went 5-1, with that capturing the NFC East, propelling them into the playoffs and setting up this matchup on this day in New Orleans against the Saints, in a game that was really physical, really fun to watch, especially at 7:30 in the morning when I was watching it in Afghanistan. The Eagles would lose, though, in this game, in a really good football game, 27-24, ending that season in the journey with Jeff Garcia, which really Garcia kind of, he pulled the season together. Things weren't looking good when McNabb went down. I think they were like 6-5 at the time. McNabb got hurt in Tennessee that year against the Titans, tore his ACL. Garcia came in, rallied the team around him, and got him down to New Orleans. I think this actually got him into the wild card against the Giants. They beat the Giants, who I think actually they were the division winners. Weren't the Giants the division winners that year? And then the second round was against New Orleans, which they lost 27-24 on this day back in 2007. But this is also the day of the hit. You guys remember the hit? Sheldon Brown laying out Reggie Bush, one of the greatest hits in NFL history. That happened on this day, January 13th. And I am a friend, an acquaintance of old number 24. And he actually provided this to me a couple years ago. Gave me a little signed picture, because it made Sports Illustrated. And that's him saying, hey, Matt, thanks for all the good work and all that. And that's signed by old number 24 himself. So this was also the day of the hit delivered to Reggie Bush. So happy Sheldon Brown destroys Reggie Bush, and happy Eagles lose to the Saints in the divisional round 27-24 on this day in 2007. And this little segment of the day in Philadelphia sports history is brought to you by our network, who now has a schedule for the week. Finally, after the stunning defeat, man, Steelers got the doors beat off them last night by the Texans, I was able to produce a schedule, and we have to say goodbye. And I mentioned this last night. We had to say goodbye to the Birds Flyby. We got to say goodbye to the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. We have one more episode left, but that won't be until the Thursday after the Super Bowl. So essentially, we're saying goodbye to that show. We are also saying goodbye to Steel City Sunday pre and post game coverage here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network. And let me be the first. If John, Bill, the rest of you guys are out there listening to this, I want to thank you for a great season. You guys killed it. You know, we got off to a little bit of a rocky start, which is expected, but you guys pulled it together and you put together week after week a very informative, great program for a lot of people to watch. But we got to say goodbye to Steel City Sunday for at least a football cycle, and they'll be back next year, bigger, better, and badder. And of course, with the 2026 schedule essentially out, we don't know when these games will be played, but we do know who we're playing against. The Eagles are playing the Steelers, so we should have some fun with that next season here on the network. So here is your schedule tonight. It was the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, as they were not only picking apart the loss to the Texans, but also the news of Mike Tomlin stepping down as Steeler head coach. We did not have prop locks and parlays. Mike Laro called me right before the show saying he wasn't feeling up to it. So we're going to move that to next week. And then you got me. Tomorrow it's the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, me, and we are going to have some Flyers, Sabres, clear the ice. And then here's the rest of it for the week. Keep an eye on that 8 o'clock time slot on Saturday as we'll run the best of the It's a Wrap Sports Network for the week. So there you go. There's our schedule for this week here on the network. And again, thank you to the guys over there at Steel City Sunday for a great inaugural season here on the network. Again, we're going to be doing more programming with them throughout the year. Got the Pittsburgh Sports Tonight, Pittsburgh Sports Desk, Gridiron Weekly. I think we're kind of turning up the heat a little bit on. I think John's going to do 4 nights with the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, or not Sports Desk, Sports Tonight. Too much Pittsburgh, but not Pittsburgh Sports, but too much Pittsburgh in the name. So we'll get some things going here in the future real quick. So now it's time. Howie needs to fire Sirianni with John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin available. It's interesting, right, Mike? Again, it kind of goes along with my rant tonight about, okay, you gave the homers their sacrifice, right? You know, you gave the sun god Ra his sacrifice. You know, Kevin Petullo was sacrificed to the homer gods in the church of Jalen Hurts, and that's great. But it's not all that has to be done, because if we think we're going to go just plug and play with another offensive coordinator, because I have a feeling, and call me Kismet and call me crazy if you want, but I have a feeling that the new offensive coordinator, whoever he or she may be, I don't want to genderify this, he or she may be, is going to walk in here and find the same problems that everybody else has found. So with that being said, maybe my suggestion of a first-time offensive coordinator, even though he does have ties to Sirianni, Phillip Rivers is my candidate, my dark horse candidate for offensive coordinator, because I truly believe Phillip Rivers will be a head coach in this league someday. You would have Phillip Rivers at the cheap right now. You'd have him for at least 2 to 3 years before he really kind of popped up on anybody else's radar for a head coach. And he's a quarterback, future Hall of Famer. If anybody could potentially unlock Jalen Hurts, if anybody could potentially get to Jalen Hurts, it would probably be him. So if he's available, I would bang the tires on Phillip Rivers. Bring him here and make him the offensive coordinator. It's innovative. It's outside the box. And what the hell? Why not? I mean, I'm concerned with some of these. And yes, do we need a seasoned veteran guy who knows how to play calls? We do. Absolutely, we do schematically. But can a person like that, a Mike McDaniel, a Brian Dable, the Merchkin guy, or the, what is his name? Munkin from the Ravens, sorry. The Stefanski, those guys, are they actually going to be able to come in here, and not only are they going to be able to come here and deal with Hurts, but also have to deal with Sirianni and have to deal with Howie? I don't think this job is as attractive as everybody thinks it is. I think there's a lot of stuff going on here. And word's gotten out now about Sirianni. Word's traveled around the NFL. I don't know if it's going to be that cut and dry and that easy to get somebody like that to come here. So why not go outside the box with Phillip Rivers? He knows how to run exotic formations. He knows how to be how to run a multiple layered offense. Christ, he knows how to play quarterback in his mid-40s. So why not? Why not give Phillip Rivers a chance? But now, as Michael Papernick said, it's time to for Howie to fire Sirianni and make with Harbaugh and Tomlin available. Indeed, Papernick. Sorry about that. Chair was going down on me. The only good staff is Vic. Sowers just wants to start over. I think they scapegoated Kevin. I agree. I think they did too. Munkin from the Ravens. I forgot his name. Sorry. If you think about it, Hurts has looked the same as in college, no matter who is the coach. With one exception, Barbara. I do have to give the exception of 2022. And I think it was because of the RPOs with Steichen. I think it was at that time, Hurts wanted to be just electric. He wanted to get his foothold in the NFL, and he was not, I don't know, not a diva. And he let Steichen tap into his skill set. That skill set's not been tapped into for years now, since 22. Something happened after the 22 season. I don't know if something happened after he battled Mahomes that he decided he wants to be more of a Pat Mahomes quarterback. But something happened to him after 2022, and it hasn't been the same. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Phillip Rivers can reconnect that or retap into that, but it's not been the same. Everyone's living severely in the past with Jalen Hurts. Severely in the past. You know, and again, you think about it. It was so bad that in 2024 at the bye week, it was so bad at the bye week. They had to have a closed door. Now, I know that the popular story is that the offensive line, you know, rallied to the cause, went into Sirianni's office, threw down their jerseys and said, play Saquon, you know, like in Rudy, like, I'm out of here, or play Saquon. I know that was the popular, but I don't think that's what happened. I honestly think the coaching staff on the offensive side sat down during the bye week behind closed doors and said, we can't throw the ball. I cannot, Kellen Moore, I cannot work with this guy. He does not know how to read my offenses. We heard he was having problems with the offense in the summer heading into the season. And through the first 4 games of 2024, they were 2-2. They had a closed door meeting and said, I can't work with this. He cannot pass the ball. We got to figure out something else. That's how bad it got. And Nick Sirianni probably at that time thinking, you know what? I'm about to get fired anyway because of what happened in 23 and the fact that we're 2-2 now. What the hell else do I got to lose? Whatever you guys want to do, let's just do it. And then Saquon Barkley goes off for 2,500 all-purpose yards, and the Eagles win a Super Bowl. And then we have another year of Sirianni and Hurts. So what exactly are people seeing about this guy? What are they seeing? I really want to know. Munkin will probably go with Harbaugh. Yep. Marathon. They will be open here in a second. I promise, Ricky. People are crying about how the running and the offensive line when the Eagles rushed for 150 yards and Hurts had all day to throw. We talking about last year? Is that what you're talking about? Crying what, that we don't do that anymore? Well, that's the reason why we're one and done, Barbara. Somebody told me the Eagles had to keep Hurts for 4 more years because he has $117 million dead money hit on the salary cap if they try to dump him. Well, listen, I know he's got a no trade clause for the next 2 years. So that limits your possibilities right off the bat. And they could get creative. Hell, they dumped Carson Wentz and sucked on his money. Remember? That was a dead cap hit that they absorbed. If Howie wants to get rid of him, I'll give Howie one thing. When he's done with something, he's done, and he's going to move forward with it. And I'll give him credit on that. I don't think Howie will have problems moving on from Jalen Hurts once they get to that point. But how much more are we going to have to endure? And what happens if the next offensive coordinator, whoever he or she may be, comes in here next year and the offense still is not good? We're going to fire another offensive coordinator? It's getting comical. And other people are seeing this inside the league. The Eagles, 5 new coordinators in 5 years. They're seeing this. So again, why is this job attractive to people? I don't get it. Oh man. Luzardo hopes to stick with Philly long term. Well, Jesus Luzardo make a statement about wanting to stick around. See how he does this year. I wouldn't be against that. I like Jesus Luzardo. We're going to need him too. Until we figure out what's going on with Wheeler and Nola, we're going to need as many arms as we can, folks. Got to keep him happy. All right. So, yes, the phone lines are now opened. The link is now popping throughout your streams and your chat rooms, wherever you're watching this show from. Go ahead and click the link. It'll put you backstage. I will then put you on stage, on camera. Again, if you don't want your camera on, you don't need it on. I just have to be able to hear and speak to you. But click on the link. It'll pull you backstage, and I'll pull you up on stage, and we'll have some fun. Hurts is very secretive, and we know very little bit about him. People are guarded about him. Again, yeah, but people talk about him like they know him. And listen, I got to give Hurts that credit, though. Hurts does keep the persona of a professional athlete, and I'm not going to knock him for that. But you cannot make any affirmations or any assertions about his personal life based on what he shows the media. Everyone thinks he's this hell of a guy. No one knows what he's really like. So again, I know people they glaze over him. They're in love with him. They feel like they know him. Nobody knows him, man. And I got to give him credit. He keeps his personal and private life and professional life separate. That's great. And I envy him for that. But let's not talk about him like he's Mother friggin' Teresa. We don't know that. We don't know what he is. I had a Jeff Garcia shirt that year. I said a fighter fights. Yeah, listen, Jeff Garcia was a great story that year. The season was clunking along in 06. 06 season. They were 6-5. McNabb goes down in that Titans game. They lose that game. They come back out the following week with Garcia, and he takes them on this 5-1 run into the playoffs and then into the second round. We needed Jeff Garcia on Sunday. Hell, we needed Nick Foles on Sunday. We needed Donovan. I would have taken Donovan on Sunday. We needed somebody, man. And the guy we had just wasn't good enough. And what are we blaming it on? Stupidly. And again, I love most Eagles fans. There's a good part of you that I ship away, and you know who you are. But I love most Eagles fans. And yes, we're very knowledgeable about this game. But what I've heard today was putting the entire outcome of this season on the feet of Kevin Padula, saying it's his fault that Hurts can't get comfortable behind the line of scrimmage. It's his fault that Hurts can only complete 8-point-some-odd% of his passes down the middle of the field. It's his fault that he doesn't run. I don't like when we do this. I don't like when we kind of play down to our rivals here. That's ridiculous talk. You know it as well as I do. All right, and when did we start backing our players more than the team? When did that begin? When did the love of the individual, or when did the name on the back become more important than the name on the front? Because most of these Homer talk shows, they glaze over players, but they forget about the team. And they put players above the team. That's probably because these people have never played team sports, and they don't understand what it's like to have to, or done anything in their lives that they relied on somebody else to support them, to get them through something. They have no idea what that's about. They have no idea what personal sacrifice is. And they put the individual above the team. And they want you to listen to them like they know what the hell they're talking about. So let's start looking at the team more than the actual friggin' player. And that's all I got to say about that. Oh, man. Ricky, as I said, brother, where are you at? There you are, Ricky. As promised, here you are, first in the shoot. I am sorry about last night. We ran late. Well, I don't know where you were. You came in late, so it's both our faults. What's going on tonight, Ricky?
And go Flyers.
Go Flyers indeed. At least we don't have to play the Tampa Bay Lightning tomorrow. Right, Ricky? Moving on to another opponent, the Buffalo Sabres. Wasn't a good weekend again. What were they outshot? 12-3? Something like that. 11-3, 12-3 against the Lightning. Yeah. Ricky, Kevin Padula no longer the Eagles offensive coordinator. Are more moves needed, or are you okay with this?
He said it tasted bitter.
Need more moves.
I agree, Ricky. I agree. And when, for those of you that are watching, when Ricky takes a stand, when Ricky takes something other than uber positivity, you got to listen, because Ricky is probably the most positive person I've ever met. I don't know why you like this show so much. Me and you are so total opposites, and I appreciate you. I love you for it. But when Ricky takes a stand against something, you got to listen, and more moves are needed. All right. So let me ask you, Nick Sirianni getting fired or dumping Jalen Hurts, or both?
Nick Sirianni.
I agree, Ricky. I agree. I think we're in for another season of the same old thing next year. I think it's time. I think it's time. All right, my man. Listen, tomorrow night, Ricky, be here. All right. All right, brother. All right, man. Have a good night. Ricky Deal, man. As I said, when he starts taking controversial stances on something, or anything other than positivity reigns supreme, you got to listen. And again, I, for the life of me, do not know why he likes the show. He's been here since like the beginning, and I have no idea why. Me and him could not be more opposite if we were more opposite. But I love Ricky Deal, and I'm glad he's part of the family here. Let's bring on Mr. Sunshine himself, Michael Papernick. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Matty?
What's going on?
So you want Phillip Rivers?
That's my dark horse candidate, Mike.
Now here's the problem with that. If he shits the bucket, it goes back to Sirianni calling plays.
Well, you know what? my philosophy is this. Sirianni is going to go, if they don't fire Sirianni, which they won't, and I know they won't. But Sirianni's going into 26 the way he went into 24. He's going to be fighting for his job. This is it for him. 2026 is it. So I don't really care. This is the last year anyway. If it doesn't work, he's gone. If it works, then he stays. But listen, think about it, though, for a second, Mike. Phillip Rivers just retired. Hell, he played last year, right? He knows modern-day football. He knows Sirianni. Why not? Why not give him a shot? He will be a head coach at this level at some point in his afterlife. I guarantee you that.
The problem is everybody connected to Sirianni that comes that it just goes south. Now, look. The reason I didn't know that Jalen had a no trade for the next 2 years, so that's so now that people know this, the only way you're going to have to convince this guy to be, look, we can trade you, pick a team, give us. So the logical is Sirianni and Petula. I mean, come on, man. Petula, he was supposed to be, AJ spoke highly of him. I didn't hear Jalen say nothing about him. I really don't think, I think there was a disconnect way before all that. And they just force fed him to Jalen. Force fed. That's right. What they did. I don't think that Jalen was on board with that, because I never heard it. And maybe the reason is because Jalen don't want to do this, and this. Well, Howie needs to do what he did to Carson. Go draft the quarterback in the second round and put the pressure on your quarterback one to prove he's quarterback one.
Do you think that's going to work? Do you see Jalen Hurts being productive with that, or do you think he's going to turtle up and become a spoiled, like Carson did, essentially?
Well, it's between the ears. What I was saying last night, everything with Jalen is between the ears. Now, I know he has physical, limitations with his throwing and stuff down. He ain't got the strongest arm. He don't have the quickest release. He can't read, but everything's between the ears with him. He's like Carson. It's turning into that. So, but again, it might wake him up, knowing that how he might just cut him. How he could just come and say, "Screw it, I'll just suck the money up." And tell Lurie, look, we're just sucking up. Let him go.
Yeah, but Jalen Hurts around this league. I know there's somebody out there that says, you know what, bring him here. We'll talk some sense into him. We'll get him to be where he thought he was, or where everybody in Philly thought he was. Jalen Hurts is not a lost cause, but it's one of those situations, because if we give another year and it completely falls apart, then we might be stuck with having to cut him, like you said, because then no one's going to want him. So this is one of those situations, but they're not going to trade him this year. They're not going to do that. Yes, it is. It's business. You know that.
Well, just think about this. Howie got a first-round pick for Sam Bradford because Minnesota needed a QB.
Got a first-round pick for Carson Wentz.
And he got a third-round pick for Bryce Huff, who did shit for us last year.
No, you're right.
There's always the sucker out there that Howie's gonna. The New York Jets might be the sucker team.
Hell, the Jets, the Browns, the Raiders. There's a good amount of teams that would take Jalen Hurts right now. Now they take him.
Well, see, here's the thing. If I'm looking at a team, I'm looking at Cleveland because they got 2 first-round picks. Can you get a first-round for them? I don't know, but maybe Cleveland gives the latter round of their first-round picks up.
You think Jalen Hurts is signing off to go to Cleveland?
Well, I mean, listen. You never know. You never know. He played in Oklahoma and went to Alabama. I mean, it's like
I don't know.
I just don't. We're okay. So we're stuck with this guy for at least 2 more years.
Yeah,
I think if they go get themselves a Dable, I don't think Dable's going to get a job right away. So he'll be here for at least 2 years. They get Stefanski, I think it's 2 years. If they got a Monken, which I think they'd have to do now before Harborough takes him wherever he's going to go, I don't think that guy wants to be.
And that's a one. Well, no, he's done with head coaching. Yeah, he's done. He's
that's right. So. That's my point. That's what I mean. But Dable, all them other guys, Dable, McDaniels, and Stefanski, they'll get a job after next year or maybe 2 years after that. You know, McDaniels. Now, here's the good thing about McDaniels. When he was with Kyle Shanahan, the year they went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy G, remember they decided to run the ball the whole time, got to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
He loves to run the ball.
Yeah.
Loves to run it. So the only thing is you got to bring somebody that Sirianni's not going to, where things just don't go real south with that guy real fast either. You know,
and it has to be considered here because if things do work out with this new offensive coordinator and he leaves at the end of next year, when does this madness stop? How many more years do we got to keep replacing offensive coordinators? So this has got to be a smart move. This has got to be an up and coming or a past their prime in terms of head coaching kind of a hire. It has to be in order to give Jalen Hurts that continuity that he allegedly so craves and that he deserves. He does. He deserves that. And they got to do a better job with that. But let me ask you this there, Papernick.
Okay.
And I don't know the situation around the firing today. I wasn't obviously in the room. But what do you think about Sirianni letting his boy go and saying, you know what, I'm staying here? He didn't pull a Dougie P. He just said, you know what? Sorry, brother. Blood is thicker than water. You're out the door. I'm staying. I got to get paid. I got to put my kids through college. I mean, what do you think about that? Am I reading way too much into this, or is the Sirianni show his true character with this?
That's a tough thing right there, man. Because one, if Sirianni walks away, I mean, I'm sure he's got enough money to live off of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he still has a family to take care of. You know,
so Doug.
In a sense, yeah. But some people, I mean, it's a business to them. They don't take it. They don't have a personal connection to nobody.
Well, they've been together a long time, 8-9 years. They've been at the hip with each other. So I'm just saying, I'm because there was a big speculation about whether this was going to be our way to get rid of Sirianni. He wasn't going to want to fire his boy, so he would pull a Dougie P and then get fired himself. There was that speculation, and I was praying to God it was going to work out that way. But Sirianni told me to hold his beer while he took care of it his way. So I'm just
it can still happen. It can still happen. It can still happen.
Yeah, it could.
I mean, but it's kind of tough when you're friends with somebody, for X amount of time, because you work at the same job or you're his boss. Are you supposed to give up your position because he didn't work out? You know what I mean?
No. Now
here's the thing.
Allegedly, they're going to give him. They're going to offer him a position inside the organization at a lesser role. I don't think he takes it. I think he just walks away. I wouldn't take it. Screw that. I'm out of here, man.
Well, yeah. Wait. Well, here's the thing. Tool walk away. Supposedly, there's other teams that want you as a head coach. Go get a head coaching job. Let's see how that works out. He ain't getting a head coaching job. he'll be like a quality control coach, special teams, then move up again. He'll have to
God
start off
knows there's
something.
enough positions out there. There's now 9 that need to be filled in the NFL. So who knows, man? There's a lot of jobs out there this year.
Real quick before I get off, did you see the trade, the Cardinals and Diamondbacks? And the Cardinals are picking up $31 million of Arenado's 42. They're only paying $11 million of it. That's the thing the Phillies have to do with Castellanos.
But that's
I've been
you're talking
saying it.
Nolan Arenado versus Nick Castellanos. Who's picking up that? It's a so
No.
The
Phillies
way to the Hall of Fame, and I don't know. Castellanos is on his way to the unemployment line. I get what you're saying, but I would have done that. I would have taken on that money for him if I'm a team like Arizona, who's kind of like right there on the edge.
There's $11 million.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's what I'm getting at. If the Phillies picked up $15 million, I guarantee a team will pick them up for $5 million. That's pennies to them.
You think Middleton's going to
pennies.
suck $15 million of that contract up? He wants to do
that? Well, here's the thing. I think, he re-signed Robbie, so he's listening to his dummy up there. So, I mean, it ain't just now. The thing is, like with the Phillies now, did you see what came out? What I've been saying? Bomb the first base, Bichette the third. Right. Yeah. Now, did you notice about Bichette? You have to look this up. He was rated either 1 or 2 as the worst shortstops in baseball last year for arm strength or whatever it was.
Yep.
And I don't understand how third base is going to make any difference. He'd be better off at second base and putting Stott at third. Put Stott at third.
You could put Stott up, but is Stott? Listen, I don't know if Stott can handle third.
I'll put 8 mil in there. What the heck? Just put him up there. The Braves would. He'd be up in the. No. Look. You trade Stott and you put Miller over there. Hell, if 8 mil was on any other team, if it was the Atlanta Braves, he'd be up. He'd been up last year. Painter would have been up. Not the Phillies.
Crawford
They'll be 95.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. It'll be 90.
Yeah,
that's my point. So look, you can't cut Stott. What's he making?
$5 million.
A few $1 million. Okay. All right. Well, you cut him. So what? Big deal. Goodbye. $8 million. You're the third baseman. Bichette, you're our second baseman.
I like what we talked about last night. I think it's feasible to put Bichette at third, Bowman at first, and Harper back in the outfield. I think that's what they'll probably do, if that's what they have to do.
But can Harper run around out there?
Yeah. Harper's sneakily athletic. He's an athletic beast, Harper. He really is.
I know.
And
He
doesn't want to play right field because he doesn't have to. You know what I mean? And it was because of Tommy John, yes. But that's all over with. He can come back to the outfield.
They said they're signing Bichette because they need more offense.
Well, yeah, absolutely.
And
I 100% believe that.
But what you gonna do when you only got 2 good pitchers on the team?
I mean, listen. So your opening day rotation looks like this right now. You got Sanchez, you got Lazaro, you got Nola, you got Walker, and then you got Painter. I'm not. Listen, Patrick, I know it sounds weird. I'm okay with that for a month until Wheeler gets back up here. I really am.
It's 2 months. 2 months.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, you're right about 2 months. I'm okay with that. I am. It worked out well last year. Walker worked out well in spot roles. Now, Painter's the wild card. Painter and Nola are the 2 wild cards in all.
So is Wheeler. Nobody knows what Wheeler's going to come back like.
Right. But to start the season, I'm okay. Painter and Nola are the only 2 sort of questions that I have in that rotation. I know what Walker is. I know what he can give me. So give me 4 innings. And if you give me 4 or 5 innings and give up less than 5 runs, that's a win for me. You know what I mean? I understand that. And that's why they're plussing up their bullpen. They went out and got another bullpen piece today. Our bullpen's probably going to have like 11 players in it. We're going to have like a 1-player bench, and the rest of them will be relief pitchers. I mean, that's probably what they're going to have to do. But I'm okay with that for now. To start, there's bigger fish to fry than the unknown about the pitching staff. But I feel you. It could be what bites us in the ass. But right now, offensively, we stink. And we got to get better.
Well, how we stink? We're the same team from last year. With the average,
our starting catcher. Minus our starting catcher.
Yeah. Okay. With the average, 4 or 5 runs last year. So they probably average 4 or 5 runs.
Pull that up right
4 or 5 runs. Okay. Let's just say 4 or 5 runs. So that's what they'll probably average this year. So it really ain't much difference. It isn't like the lineup's going to change. He's just going to put Bichette at like number 4 or 5 in the lineup. Or Schwarber ain't moving from 2. Harper's not moving from 3.
I heard Bichette cleaning up. That's a mistake. Bichette should be batting second. She's batting the 2-hole, and Schwarber should be cleaning up. I mean, I don't know what the hell. What's going on here, man? Am I missing something? Has there been another class in baseball that I missed that we don't do that anymore? We don't put actual cleanup hitters in the 4-hole. We put them in the 2-hole.
Well, know what it is? The DH ruined it all. That's what happened. The DH ruined it all, and then you got these. They want to score all these runs at the top. That's why I say if you can't bat Stott or Crawford at 1 or 2, they got to be 8 or 9 in the lineup. It's like leading off then for them guys. Well, I'll let you go so everybody else can get on here, Matty.
They average 5 runs per game.
Okay, so what are they going to average this year? 5 runs this year. That's the average. So if you can't,
4 runs per game.
Well, what do you think they're going to give up this year then? And that was having Nola, Wheeler, Cinch. They're not going to have Wheeler for 2 months. Nola, question mark. Painter, question mark. Walker. And only 2 could put. Well, yeah, if they gave up 4 runs last year, they're giving up 5 to 6 this year.
You might be right, Patrick. You might be right. And
hey, you have a good night. And because Joe probably wants to get on.
Yeah, well, listen, tomorrow night, be back. Be back here tomorrow. All right, Michael Patrick. The chair is malfunctioning, man. I don't like it when it goes down. All right, let's get back to the show. Listen, Papernick brings up some great points. Bichette, to me, honestly, I said this back when it first broke. There was never interest in Bichette by the Phillies. There was never interest earlier in the offseason. The plan was to run it back, and that's what the plan was. But JT not signing has sort of kind of put this thing into a tailspin for the Phillies. They're panicking right now. Bichette's a panic move, which favors Bichette because he's going to get more money out the deal. But Bichette was never in the plan. It was always about running it back, Schwarber, JT, and just Garcia, whatever, and get rid of Castellanos if you had to. That was the plan, and it's very evident. And it's very evident why they're attracted to Bo Bichette right now because, JT is still hanging around out there. So I think that the defensive situation was never on their mind. It's all about the offense. So Bichette's, I think, being courted to replace what JT would not have offensively, which obviously is an upgrade over JT. But I'm okay with it, though, because God knows I want them to do something. This can't be it. If we go into the season like this, 5 runs a game isn't going to be enough. And I don't know if they can average 5 runs a game. All right. Sorry, here Sirianni will be the next one fired to protect Hurts. I would hope so. If Sirianni gets fired, he can take over as head coach. If Nick Sirianni gets fired, he can take over as head coach. I don't understand that one. Matty, the people around me watching the game say Hurts makes fun. He does, doesn't he? I agree, Barbara. He makes the game painful. Everything about his game is and I don't know the rhythm of the thing last year, the fact they couldn't get the play up, it took forever for a play to come in. Everything about that thing was disjointed. I agree. Remember Brian Dable coached him at Hurts at Alabama and benched his ass in the national championship game. Yeah, I do remember that. Kurt Warner said Hurts was missing wide open receivers on Sunday. He didn't throw it to them. That's not on Kevin. No, it's not. It's not. And again, it's mob mentality, sacrificial lamb. Get the attention off of Jalen Hurts. Put it all on Kevin Patullo. Get the attention off of Sirianni. Put it all on Kevin Patullo. Tell the mindless sheep this was what the problem was. They're going to take this idea, run with it, and then be done, even though the problem is still here. Bo's not coming to Philly. Do you know that for certain? Garcia is a right fielder. I don't know, man. If Bo Bichette works his way in here, you got to put Bo Bichette. If Bo Bichette signs and they don't move off of Bohm or Stott, where are you putting everybody? You're not going to platoon Bo Bichette and Alec Bohm. You're not going to platoon Bo Bichette and Bryson Stott. You're not doing that. You gotta work the magic. And I don't know what you do. So Garcia goes to the bench. Harper goes to right. Bohm goes to first. And Bichette goes to third. That's the easiest way to fix this if that's what happens. Why would they run it back again? Did nothing. Why would they run it back again? It did nothing in the last 4 years. Adam, if you had that answer, we would both know. And I would be very enlightening. I mean, it's money that's invested. Does John Middleton care more about putting butts in seats on Tuesday nights in August than he does winning a World Series? Signing Kyle Schwarber told me everything I needed to know about the direction of the Phillies. There's not going to be change. It's going to be the same formula of the same core and little tweaks here and there. The signing of Kyle Schwarber spelled all that out. And, you can look at it any way you want, but to me, there's no other way to look at it. But you're right. It hasn't worked for the last 4 years. And how does he sell it to the folk? I know last year he said it was hard. It's hard to win a World Series. Yeah, we get that, but that's your job. I'm about had it with Dombrowski too, honestly. But all right, let's get back to the show. Run it back. MP checks in, say they watched Card Knocks. I hate Nick even more. He hasn't. He's a passenger on the Eagles bus. He was a passenger to the Super Bowl last year. He was a passenger as the thing broke down this year. And the bodyguard with Fat Dom. Why do you? I mean, we are a joke, man. We have to have a head coach who needs a bodyguard to protect him on the sidelines, right? It's a goddamn joke. Can we stop being a joke? Can we get a football guy here, please? Please. I'll stop talking controversial about Howie Roseman forever if they bring in another head coach. I'll shut my mouth about Howie Roseman if they fire Nick Sirianni. Here's my edict right now. If Howie fires Nick Sirianni between now and the start of next season, I will not speak negatively, controversially. I won't even look sideways at Howie Roseman ever again. And that's a promise. If you do it for me, Howie, I would really appreciate it. Stick Trey Turner in the outfield. What are you going to do with Justin Crawford? We don't have enough positions on the field right now. What's up, brother? How are you doing? I'm doing well. I'm sorry about the Eagles. Hey, it's all good, man. I was prepared for it. I was prepared for it. And Star Wars is happy about it. Some mixed opinions here in the chat tonight. All right, let's take a pause from here. I want to do the of the night segment. Then I want to get on to the card of the night. So let's do the of the night segment right now. All right, the other night segment tonight. Of course, this is the time of the show where we take a minute to talk about a NHL draft prospect, an MLB draft prospect, a Flyers prospect, a Phillies prospect, or we spotlight a player from the Flyers or the Phillies. We are getting down the end of the road when it comes to Flyers prospects as we start to transition more now to the baseball side of things here in about a month. I will start breaking some more NHL draft prospects down. We started it, did about 2 or 3 of them, and I haven't done it in a while, so we're going to get back into that. But tonight, let's continue on down the Flyer prospect road. And tonight's Flyer prospect of the night is Ryan McPherson, the center from the University of New Hampshire, the 6'1", 185-pound centerman drafted in the 6th round of 2023. Ryan plays center, supports plays lower in the zone, and starts the breakouts. He acts as a connector, the passer who deceives defenders and moves the puck quickly around them. He ensures that the puck transitions smoothly from the defensive zone to the offensive end. Now, if this skill that he picked up at the junior level can transition to the NHL level, when can you get here? Because we are probably one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League at moving the puck out of our zone, transitioning it to the other side of the ice, or even stick handling it in open ice. I've never seen a team struggle so much with this that I have the Flyers over the past 3 or 4 years. We are averaging somewhere around 16 giveaways a night. And anything to facilitate cutting that number down and also facilitating a little bit more of a quicker transition to offense will do. I don't know how much I can trust a 2023 6th round draft pick to deliver that, but you know what? He's got the pedigree. He's got the skills. Currently, this season with the University of New Hampshire, he has played in 16 games and has only tallied 1 assist. And that's not looking too good either. He's got a -1 so far. So one of those outlying prospects taking in the later rounds of a draft. Still some time with him. I think he's got another year of college eligibility before the Flyers have to make any decisions with him. So there's no real rush with Ryan as they let him sit there at the NCAA level, kind of working on his own craft. But he definitely has the tools that you're looking for when it comes for facilitation. A lost art for the centerman of 2025, if you ask me. So I hope it can continue to develop and foster it along as we go. And maybe another couple of years in the NCAA will get him ready to transition to the pro game. Maybe the Flyers see enough of him that they sign him at some point. Again, you have 2 more years before he pushes the limit here with the Flyers. Now, last season with New Hampshire, he only played in 18 games as he's been dealing with injury issues. That's why the lower game totals from last year. He had injury problems, 18 games, only scored a goal. This year, his second year, that's getting off to a slow start as well. But there you have it. Tonight's prospect of the night, Ryan McPherson. And I hope you guys enjoyed that. So, and that was brought to you by the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, one of our myriad of Pittsburgh sports themed shows. That along with the Pittsburgh Tonight Show that was on earlier, and our Gridiron Weekly Report that covers the National Football picture, are all run by our Pittsburgh connection. Our guys from Pittsburgh. That's right. Paulie told me not to mess around with that stuff, but I said, to hell with it, man. I'm going to mess around with it. But make sure you're checking out the Pittsburgh Sports Desk and all the other Pittsburgh sports shows that we have here on this Philadelphia Sports Network. I was hoping for Rob Thompson to get fired. You, me, and everybody else there. But your wish might come true, because that's why I think Don Mattingly is here, honestly. Honestly, that's why I think he's here. He's going to take over for Rob when he gets out of the gate slow. And you're going to see a la Joe Girardi, Rob Thompson thing happen this summer. Nick Sirianni and Rob Thompson need to go. Michael says, so I heard the rumor that the Chargers might release Mekhi Becton. If you were Howie, would you sign him if he becomes available? He is only 26 years old, and he played right guard at a high level here. But he did not play right guard at a high level in L.A. I don't know what was going on out there. That offensive line was trash. I'm surprised Herbert got out of the season upright. But yes, I would. I'd sign him to a 1-year deal right now. $6 million right now. Because we need to start rebuilding our offensive line. I'm not saying he's long-term, but he's definitely a short-term project. I was watching a lot of Phantoms hockey lately. Them guys are fast and looking good. They are, but hopefully, when you look at levels of hockey, professionally wise, the AHL is not a bad place. It's a very good breeding ground. It's the second best league in the world, right? But there is such a there's such a difference between the level of play in the AHL versus the NHL. It's night and day. And the Flyers have, their prospect pool, which I think is a lot shallower than a lot of people want to admit, to include the Flyers. But there has been some hits of late, some action going on down there, some players starting to round a little bit into form. It's looking good. I don't know if there's any world beaters down there. I don't know if there's any generational talent down there. There's not, because if there was, it'd be here. But there's solid rotational core, pieces the Flyers can use going forward, and you need those. But we got to get some of these goddamn generational playmakers. We need a superstar or two to go along with this, and this is what this team is missing: that and a goalie. And once we get those pieces, we'll be fine. But right now, we're an organization full of role players. Hard to believe Don Mattingly is older than Rob Thompson. No, not really. No, I don't know. I don't think it's hard to believe. Joe, is that hard to believe that Don Mattingly is older than Rob Thompson?
No, it's not.
What's up, Joe?
I want to talk about Bo Bichette. I realized if we get him, which it looks like we are, because he said no to Boston right now, would he do wonders for the Phillies offense, you think?
Yeah, if they put him in the right spot. I know the talk is about batting him in the cleanup position and keeping Kyle Schwarber at 2. That's wrong. If we had a top 3 that featured Trey Turner, Bo Bichette, and Harper, that'd be amazing. Harper's a protection for Schwarber. We would rake at the top 4. Now the lineup would fall off drastically after 4, but you got to bat Bichette too. He's the classic 2-hitter.
So,
and I would love that.
If they sign him and don't trade Bohm, I can see Harper going to right field.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
Garcia, I'm sorry, I was at bowling. I'm a bowler, professional bowler.
No, that's okay, Joe. You don't have to apologize. I'm just saying we mentioned it earlier.
Harper right, Garcia in left, and Crawford in center.
Does Harper go back to right? Does he accept that?
Yes. Or Harper in left would be
Okay, would Harper accept going back to the outfield? That's my point.
yes.
You think so, huh?
Yes.
After his president of baseball operations called him not elite, he's going to accept that?
To
Think
prove
so?
everybody he still has it, yes.
Okay.
So, all right, next topic. I got one more topic after the Eagles. I know I'm holding you up.
No, hit it, man. Let's do it.
Do you want Stefanski, Cliff Kingsbury, or Brian? What is it?
Kingsbury?
Yeah.
No, Brian Dable and Cliff Kingsbury.
Or
I want Phillip Rivers.
okay, would he do it?
I don't know.
Because
I want Phillip Rivers because of his ties with Nick Sirianni and the fact that he is a future Hall of Fame quarterback who literally just played in the league right now. And I want a quarterback to talk to a quarterback here. I think this is the last chance of Jalen Hurts.
Cliff Kingsbury played quarterback too.
What, for Yale or Harvard with the name Kingsbury? Come on, man.
Played with Arizona. Come on.
I don't care. Phillip Rivers is going to the Hall of Fame. I think Phillip Rivers is going to be a head coach in the NFL someday. I do. And I think that the Eagles can get him on the ground floor. They can have at least 3 years with him. And I think he gets this thing straight. Again, is he the sexy pick? No. But Stefanski, McDaniel, those guys are looking for new head jobs. Dable, they're looking for new head coaching jobs. We're looking at a 1-year carousel again with those guys, more than likely.
High priority gets that Steelers job.
What's that?
Someone high gets that. High
Kevin
coach.
Petula gets to be the new head coach of the Steelers. Who do you want, Joe? Who do you want to be the offensive coordinator?
I'll take anybody.
But does it matter to you that some of these guys are probably only going to be there for 1 year and then get another head coaching position?
I'll take Frank Reich back.
That's another quarterback to quarterback. Yeah, that could work.
And he'll be here longer than a year.
But he used to also be Sirianni's boss, and now Sirianni's going to boss him around. Do you think he would do that?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know.
Flyers, and then that's it. I heard reports that they're talking to the Phantoms, the Flyers beat reporter, about what to do with Sam Emerson.
What do you mean?
A move is coming apparently for a goalie.
So Erson can't be sent down. He has to be DFA'd, and he's got to go through waivers before he gets sent down because he's out of options. So that's probably the only reason why he's stuck around this long is because there's no options left. I hope there's something. We can't go. Joe, that's so bad. They are scheduled losses when he gets between the pipes, man. They are scheduled friggin' losses.
So, okay.
That's it?
Yeah.
Quick.
Is the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, are they going to still be on air?
Yeah, so the Steel City Sunday obviously won't be, but the Sports Desk will be on every Wednesday. Gridiron Weekly is going to continue on through the offseason as well on Thursdays. And Pittsburgh Sports Tonight is going to stretch out to 5 nights a week at some point here soon. So,
and maybe we get a Sixers talk show again, a.k.a. the Gobbler, if you're listening.
What are you trying to do, man? You trying to pump up Pat to me? You got Pat. Pat's part of this network. Again, Pat knows. I don't know. I'm not going to air anybody's personal stuff on here. Pat's part of this network. There's some things there that are there that we're working through. But Pat's still part of this network.
When he comes back, will it be a Sixers talk show? That's what I'm trying to get at again.
Well, he was hosting the he did one show of the post game. I would love to get that post game back going again to start, and we'll kind of go from there because the Sixers might actually be a for real thing this year. So I want to get on that train.
They play a tough Cleveland team tomorrow.
Yeah, they've been playing well, but yeah, we're looking. We already have. I have a post game show ready to go. So we'll see.
Tomorrow?
What's that?
See you tomorrow?
I'll be back on tomorrow. Yep.
Okay.
All right, Joe. Have a good night, man. All right, Joe Hale. Joe Hale advocating again for Pat Bernard. There's no advocating needed. He's not like fired. He's still part of the network. He's just going through some technical situations right now. All right, let's finish this up and let's do the magical card review because I haven't done it in weeks, but I do want to get it out of the way because I want to stop staring at this card. So here we go. All right. Yep. The MattyB's card review. Whew, long time in between card reviews. We ain't going to do that tonight. We're not going to do that again. It'll be every night. I'll get back to that. All this build up to really not a super card. It's really it's a 2025 Topps. It came out of the update series. Oh, and by the way, for all you baseball card aficionados out there, February 12th is when 2026 Topps Series 1 will drop, and we'll start this whole thing over again in 2026. You can pre-order your Series 1 cards now. A hobby box that comes with, I believe, 10 packs, 40 cards a pack are going for $200 for pre-order if you cannot wait, for them to hit the stores. But February 12th is when Topps 2026 Series 1 will drop. And but we're going to continue on with Topps 2025 because tonight we're going to talk about a card that came out in the update series. It's a parallel rainbow foil refractor card in the old 1990 retro. So Topps this past season 2025 used their 1990 cards, which was the 35th anniversary of Topps baseball cards, to do a retro. They took players from today and put them on the not 1990. What year is this? Was it 95? Yeah, this is 1990. Yeah, 1990. They took players from today and put them on the 1990 card. Now, the 1990 cards had the 35th anniversary little sticker on the bottom. So this year is the 80th anniversary of Topps baseball cards, 2026. So they're going to do some special things for their 80th year of existence, as well as they're going to feature the 1991 cards as that retro card that they're going to put the players from today on. So last year they used the 90 cards. Next year it's going to be the 91 cards. And this is a 2025 rainbow foil refractor from the update series on the 1990 35th anniversary card format. And it's for the young man out of the Minnesota Twins, their second baseman, Luke Keeschel. This is his rookie card. And again, it's a refractor on the 1990 35th anniversary. It's got the rookie card shield, the rookie shield down there, and it's a rainbow foil. Actually, this card is pretty valuable as it stands right now. It's card number U90-1. It's about $45. I saw somebody move it for $45 not too long ago. And good, young, exciting player for the Minnesota Twins. Dealt with some injury problems last year. Started the season off. He kind of messed up his ankle. Missed about 3 months there in the middle of the summer. Came back, had a strong finish to the season. And then on the, I believe, the Monday before the final week, tore ligaments in his thumb, so he could not be available for the postseason for them. But he's a good young player who has a pretty decent ceiling out there in Minnesota. And, holding on the cards like this, a featured card of him in a refractor on an insert, on a parallel, the 35th anniversary, 1990 with the shield and all that. It's a pretty decent looking card. I love I love what they did with the 90 cards and the 35th anniversary. Again, this year, 2 kind of anniversary things to discuss. The 80th anniversary of Topps baseball cards is this year, and they're also going to take the 2026 players and put them on the 90 and put those retro cards using the 91 Topps. So you'll be seeing those in 2026. But there you have it, the Luke Keeschel refractor rainbow foil insert from the Topps Update series. Your card of the night, pretty cool card. Again, about $45 I saw it go for, and here it is in its physical form right there. Now I can put this damn thing away. It's been out for like a week. All right. There you go, man. Done. Done. We did not do the hot stove. Sorry, ran out of time, but we'll get to the hot stove tomorrow as things are cooling down a little bit. Not with the hot stove, but cooling down with the Eagles. Kevin Padula's out. Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni remain. Are more dominoes going to fall, or is this it? Flyers back in action tomorrow night against the Buffalo Sabres. Be back here at the appropriate time for the Clear the Ice program. Mike Lara will have you. And then here's the schedule for the week. As I said, it is out. Make sure you're checking in. And you guys have a great rest of your night. I will see you in the morning. Or I will see you in the morning. I'll see you tomorrow night as we'll have another episode. So take care. Good night. See ya.